Okay, so this is end of course speaking test, ESL 7.1. Hello there. Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a speaking test. Khôi, I know you've already done this, so I'm not going to be focusing as much on you, I'm going to be focused a bit more on yourself, Thành. However, can you introduce yourself for me, please?
Hello, my name is Khôi. I'm from Vietnam. I live in Hanoi and in Thành province. And my favorite type of music is heavy metal.
Good, excellent stuff. Thank you very much. And can you introduce yourself for me, please?
Hello teacher, my name is Thành. I live in Hanoi. I'm 14 years old and my favorite food is pho.
Okay, good, excellent stuff. Okay, so if I can get Thành just to keep hold of the mic for me. Thành, I'm going to ask you some questions, please, and I would like you to give as detailed answers as you feel comfortable. How often do you use a mobile phone?
I just use for 3 hours a day.
What do you usually use your mobile phone for?
I usually use for learning or find information on social media.
Okay, good. What's your favourite time of the year?
My favorite time of the year is winter.
Why do you say winter?
Because I like cold weather and I hate hot weather. That makes me feel bad.
Okay. What, do you like any sports? What do you like any sports?
Yes, I like football.
Who's your favourite football team?
I'm just play football. I'm not even watch football much. Or
Okay, alright. And what kind of music do you like listening to?
usually my favorite kind of music is rap.
Okay, good, excellent stuff. Okay, so that's the end of part one. We're now going to move on to part two. Okay, I'm going to get you to look at this photograph here. You can see in the photograph, it shows people on bicycles. What I would like you to do is look at this photograph and describe to me what you see, please.
I see this picture have 3 persons who they were cycling on the hills and they looked at too much wood on the ground and too many trees surrounded by them, and 3 persons who cycling bring on their face 3 helmets, backpack.
Let me ask you a quick question. Where are they? Where do you think they are?
I think they are on the hill.
Okay. What do you think the weather's like there?
Weather, I think is cold.
Why do you think it's cold?
Because they were wearing a coat.
Good. Excellent. Okay, so that's the end of part two. Thank you very much. Okay, Khôi, I'm going to get you to get involved in this part as well. Okay, so we're going to move on to part three. Now, in this part of the test, you're going to talk about something together for 2 minutes. I'm going to describe a situation to you. A girl is going to write an article for her school magazine about the history of her local area. She wants to find out more about it. Here are some different ways that she could find out about the history of her local area. Talk together about the different ways that she could find out about the history of the local area and say which would be best. Do you gentlemen have any questions? Would you like me to repeat that? No? Would you like me to say it again, Thành? Or are you okay? I'll say it again, that's fine. I can say it again for you. Okay? So, let's go through it again. A girl is going to write an article for her school magazine about the history of her local area. She wants to find out more about it. Here are some ways that she could find out about the history of her local area. What I would like you to do is talk together about the different ways she could find out about the history of the local area and say which is best. Okay? Okay, so I'm going to give you a timer. Okay, if you gentlemen can start whenever you're ready, please.
She was she has seen and written about I think that's information about his history, legendary in her local area, and the person in her area is make that model to
No stress. Okay, so we're going to move on to part 3. Now, in this part of the session, you're going to talk together. I'm going to describe a situation to you. A girl is going to write an article for her school magazine about the history of her local area. She wants to find out more about it. Here are some of the ways she could find out about the history of her local area. Talk together about the different ways she could find out about the history of the local area and say which would be best. Okay? Okay, so you gentlemen may start whenever you're ready, please.
I think the first way you can search some information about the history is you can check the museum. When you go to the museum, you can have a notebook and you can write down the important thing you want to know. But this method has some flaw.
Keep going, keep going. Guys, you realize that we're doing a testing. Be quiet. Carry on for me.
This method has some flaw. First is you need to pay money for the ticket to go to the museum, and second you also need some time to do this too.
in my opinion, a good way to find out about the history of the local area, I think is search information on internet, because on internet have too much information or solutions that you want to have to you want to write about the magazine, or that have enough information for you to write a magazine. That's information even old people in your family, I think that they don't know because they are too old and have forgotten that.
Another method is buy the tour and go for it. This can give you some more information too, because they're an expert in the team, but they also two flaws that you have known when I saying about checking the museum. Is the flaws are you need to pay money, and also you need to have time too.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to take that back. Thành, do you like learning about history at school?
No, I don't.
Can I ask why?
That is not. I don't like the history of my country. The way of the teacher taught teaching me at school about the history of my country. I think that is not enough for me to interested in history.
Do you enjoy watching films about the past?
Yes,
Why do you enjoy that?
because I can watch about the movie about the history of my country, and beside that I can learn about the history of my country, and I feel like I'm very proud of my country because just 50 years they Vietnam can beat American.
Okay, that's fine. And thank you very much, gentlemen. That is the end of the video test.